I'm really happy that you are very eager to explore yourself. So I'm very happy to see all of you. And first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Fatima for organizing this event and give me opportunity to talk here. And first of all, I would like to make it very clear that this session, I'm just sharing my experience. I know many of you have even better experience than me in the publication area. So I will just share some of my thoughts and understanding what maybe you can take some of them. If you feel that that is not your cup of tea or that is very contradict with your idea, then you can leave it. No problem. I will try my best to share the process and what I have gone through, my personal experience. I will share with you. So let me start with the presentation slide, what I have prepared. So in our today's session is polish and publish in high impact factor journals. Okay. So this is some of the very brief introduction about myself, and this is my Google Scholar profile, and this is the publication summary of myself. I have total published in 13 papers in the Web of Science. Scopus is 19 and peer review papers. So these are the publisher I managed to publish. I don't have publication in the SAGE. I have publication in Elsevier, Taylor
Sorry,
Francis.
Dr. Ataul.
We can only see your first slide. I think you moved to the second slide, right?
Yeah. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. So this is the publication summary of my publication summary. You can see this is my Google Scholar profile, and this is the Web of Science. I managed to publish so far 13, and there are a few I have in process, under review, or in the final decision. Depends on, there are many in the beginning stage also. And Scopus, I have 19 so far, and peer review paper, those are not indexed in Scopus or not indexed in the Web of Science also. And these are the publisher I managed to publish so far. If you can see, something wrong with them. Okay, you can see the publisher. I have published in Elsevier, Taylor Francis, Springer, Indus Science, Wiley, and Emerald and IGI. So these are the editorial responsibilities currently I have. I am the editor of this journal. Recently, it is a new journal, recently launched. IRAST, the Journal of Tourism and Hospitality, and I'm also member of this journal and this journal, editorial member. And according to the journal citation report to 2021, my personal impact factor is 51.42. This is the cumulative point, what I have achieved so far. And this is some of my impact factor journals recently published. This one in Journal of Hospitality, Marketing and Management. This is one of the top journals in hospitality. This one impact factor is 7.022. This one Journal of Environmental Management. This is International Journal of Contemporary Management, Contemporary Hospitality Management. This is impact factor 6.5. This one from Emerald. This one is Energy from Elsevier. So I would like to start sharing the thoughts that we all must go through if we want to publish in the impact factor journal. Sometimes we prepare the manuscript, but we fail to publish in a good journal. There could be many reasons. Even sometimes paper is good, but still we did not really explore how good journals we can go through. We just submitted in a journal that easily publish our paper and we become happy. It also happens in many occasions. So we have to give the value to our paper. We have to give the value to our manuscript. We have to try from very top. If they reject, then we go to a bit lower category journal. Then if they reject, then we go a bit lower category journal. This is the way also we can do. So whenever you prepare your manuscript, my first thing is you have to ask yourself these four questions. Have you done something new? If you want to publish in the Impact Factor journal, you must have something new. So if you feel yes, then you go to the next question. If you have not done something new, then go back again and think about that what should be done if you want to do something new. Is there any challenging? Is there anything challenging in your work? Have you faced many challenges in terms of methodology, in terms of analysis, in terms of generating the idea, conceptualizing your idea? Or when you are collecting the data, there are like many barriers could come. Have you challenged? Have you faced any challenge or not? If you have faced the challenge, that means you have done a good job. There must be a challenge in the research. And will your result influence other researchers? If you publish this result, like what are the relationship you have? For example, you develop a new mediating role or new moderating role. If you publish this paper, what will happen? As a researcher, will I wait for your result and see, and someone will search your result? What will happen if you publish this result? What are the influences you can make among the researcher that you have contributed something new, or you have make a huge contradiction also that people used to believe or people used to like see this relationship. For example, leadership style will lead to work engagement, but suddenly you are able to justify that leadership skill will not increase the engagement. If you can justify this result with the theoretical point of view, so that means your research is something very extraordinary. But if you cannot justify, you just simply do it, nobody cares. If you can theoretically justify a new result, that is your contribution. It can be anything as long as you can justify the result with theoretical support, with practical need. So that means you are right, you can go through in a good journal. So there must be something new development, must be something new. If someone has done it before, then no need to do it. You can do it for Scopus, or you can do it for many other paid journals, or you can do it for peer review journals. But if you want to publish in the high impact factor journals or free journals, then definitely you must have something done. If you look at these four papers, all are free journals. I did not pay any single penny to publish here, did not pay a single penny. If you look at these top journals, I did not pay anything. But yes, they take time, but they publish. So if you want to focus on those top notch journals, you must have something new, and you must give some effort to yourself, and you must give the time to learn. That is the thing. And have you provided solution to some difficult problems? What is the problem you are trying to solve in your paper? Is this problem something serious? Is this problem something difficult that is not like that has not been solved before? If you are in something that has not been solved before, so that means you have a better possibility to publish your paper. If you are doing something that is very common, that has been done by many people, many researchers, so that means it has no value to the editor and reviewers. They will straight away reject your paper. So these are the 4 points. These 4 points you have to ask yourself before you begin your write-up. So now I will go to the next slide. What impact factor journals looking for? What actually they look for? Being a researcher, what should we do? What kind of write-up we make in order to convince them? We must have a strong theoretical gap in our paper. If you do not have this, then definitely you cannot go through in a impact factor journal, because usually the editor, he does not have like 10 minutes or 20 minutes to review your paper. He has only less than 1 minute or sometimes less than 2 minutes. straight away he will make the decision either this paper should be going to the review or desk rejection. They already have the email ready. If desk rejection, they will just copy paste the email and send to you. That's it, finish. If you do not have any strong theoretical gap, if theoretical gap is not clear, if it is not worthy, then a paper will be immediately rejected, because they are looking for theoretical foundation, looking for theoretical contribution from the author, a constructive practical need of the study. Your paper must have a constructive practical need. It is not something that a practitioner will get benefit from this one. This is very common, but it has to be very specific, that what kind of practical contribution this paper will make. You have to make the story very nicely. This one is kind of a story writing, the practical need. You need to identify the practical need and you need to write the story very nicely. Sometimes there is a practical need from this study, but authors they fail to write up. They fail to show in demonstrate in the write up. And paper, this is very basic. Like paper formatting has to be very professional. You need to follow the journal formatting, the journal you are sending. It has to be very flawless. Formatting has to be perfect, and title should be succinct. Title should be very brief as possible, and very clear. It cannot be very long and cannot be so short, but it has to be very clear. Like it really represents your work, title, and it has to be very catchy. If you make the title very common, so there is a possibility you might get the rejection. If your title is very catchy, like people get attracted, then at least the editor will look at it properly. If looks at the title and it looks very simple, then even before reading the paper it will be rejected. And a good cover letter, we must send a cover letter in a good journal whenever we submit the paper. In the cover letter there must be some introduction, at least little bit background about the study. So then uh, the editor will know, that editorial team, they will know that this study is belongs to this area or this specific area, and these are the findings they are expected to have. At least in the cover letter you should discuss a little bit about your study. Then editor will know what is going on. And also it has to be uh, without any grammatical mistakes, and minimize the grammatical mistakes as much as possible. So in many occasion you might surprise that, because all my papers, all these papers and all my impact factor papers, I submitted to the proofreader before I submit to the journal. This is the normally we do, submit to the proofreader, and a good proofreader. Submit to a good proofreader to check your paper. It might be expensive, but this is the investment we need to make for our papers. If you want to aim in a good journal, you must invest on the proofreading. Maybe it's expensive around like $300, in sometime 350, $400 also. Even one of my papers, I used the service from Elsevier. It was about like $500 only for proofreading, just checking the grammatical errors and fixing them. Proofreading and editing service. I use the Elsevier service. They charged me about $500, but my paper accepted already. So if you have the ready manuscript, the manuscript is ready, then you should send to the good proofreader. But do not waste your money also. At first, before you send to the proofreader, please cross check either you have good answer for these questions or not. If you think that you don't have good questions, a good answers for these, then you should not waste your money. Then come back here again and start the work. If you are confident, then only send to the proofreader. Otherwise, your money will be wasted, your time will be wasted, your paper will be wasted also. So, but when your manuscript is ready, according to your confidence, you feel that this one can go through in a good journal, please send to the proofreader. So there are few proofreader I used to do. I use the service from LCBR. Even all the good publisher, they have their own proofreader. For example, Elsevier, they have their proofreading services, and Taylor and Francis also have their proofreading service, more or less like $300 $400 one manuscript. Springer also got proofreading service. InDesigns, I don't know, but Wiley they have proofreading, and Emerald also got proofreading service. Emerald also got one more proofreading service. I want to tell you, they are like collaborated. They have collaborated with this proofreader. This one Edites. This one collaborated with Emerald. One of my recent manuscript I sent to Edites. So this one a bit cheaper compared to other proofreaders. So you can choose the service. There are many types of service they have. They have even multiple service. For example, if you submit your paper, in case if it is rejected, then you edited the paper a bit more, like you improve the paper. Then now you want the proofreader to check your paper again. They have this kind of service also, so you can check. This one collaborated with Emerald, a bit cheaper compared to others. Elsevier is very expensive, $500 at least, 450 to $500 one manuscript. So this is the game we are in. So we have to actually play around here. If you don't send to the proofreader, for example, the way I'm talking to you right now, you can easily notice that I'm a non-native speaker, is it? So when you send the paper to the reviewer, or sorry, editor, when you submit the paper, they also notice easily that we are non-native writer. From our sentence, even I wrote this sentence, for example, I wrote this sentence. From this sentence, they easily can notice I am a non-native speaker. My mother tongue is not English. This happens because this one we cannot blame anything because it is not our mother tongue, so it's okay. But we have to make it proper before we send to the editor. So they also notice very easily that this one is not a native writers, or he's not from a native speaking country. So if you send to the proofreader, they will minimize the grammatical errors and other like related mistakes as much as possible. So you always have a better chance for publication in a impact factor journal. And next one is an effective result selection. So whenever you present your result, it has to be very effective. Take the one you need and remove the table and figures which one is not necessary. But do not bring up everything from the SPSS or PLS and just put it inside the paper. No, just bring the important one, which one you should report, and make it very effective, make it very nice, and number the tables, number the figures properly, and make sure you have the write-up based on the numbers of the table, based on the number of figures. Sometimes we have the table number 9, but inside the paragraph we don't have any write-up. These things can make like editor very disturbing. Like he will be very, editor is always ready to reject the paper. You will find a way to reject the paper because they receive a lot of papers. So they always find a way to reject the paper. They don't find a way to accept the paper. They always find a way. How can they reject this paper? If one is rejected, their burden is gone. So we have to convince very technically that our paper is worthy publishing in that particular journal. And citing the main scientific publication, make sure you, for example, if you're writing in the leadership, or if you're writing like environmental impacts of hospitality industry, that is my expertise. So you must cite the main papers. They already know, because if the editor is from, for example, is the editor is from Journal of Hospitality Marketing and Management, the editor of this journal is Gursoy. If you know this person, Gursoy from USA, the chief editor. So he himself is an expert in the area. So he knows what you have written. He knows who are the key authors in this area. He knows. So if he go through one time your paper, then if he sees no reference from this author, no reference from this author, so that means the author really overlooked some of the important authors in this paper or in the area, some of the important researchers in the area. So there is a high possibility of rejecting your paper. And keep self citation to a minimum. If possible, just maximum one or two self citation for high impact factor journal. If you give more, then editor will like get suspicious that what is going on. Maybe he will check the paper. So make sure that you have as less as possible the self citation. If possible, do not put. If your paper is really related and really like you have taken that particular sentence from your paper, then only cite the paper. Otherwise, no need to do the self citation. Avoid excessive citations. If you use the citation from some region, like many, for example, in your paper you have so many citation from Asia, or you have so many citation from Europe, or you have so many citation from Latin America, so that means you are like lying yourself on some certain area. Not, it is not so general. The problem is not very general. Your theoretical gap is not very general, so it is like lying on some specific area or region. So there is a possibility to get the rejection, because in impact factor journal, if you have the contextual gap, it is not sufficient. So if you focus on certain region only, so that means you have contextual gap in other region. It has to be like theoretical, contextual, and practical gap, combination of all three, not only like contextual gap. Many of us think that this study has been done in other countries, but not in Malaysia, not in Thailand, or not in Vietnam. No, it's not a theoretical gap. It's a contextual gap. Contextual gap is not sufficient. So let me move to the next slide. And many of us like familiar with this. If you have tried in a impact factor journal, I believe that you have tried. Desk rejection happens. This is very common, even common for me, common for anyone.
Abdul, sorry,
Yes.
may I ask a question before I forget?
Okay.
Okay, about cover letter. Your previous slide on the cover letter, I'm having a very much difficulty to write a good cover letter to the journal. So what should I put there? Because my cover letter is simply like a general, and it's nothing. I don't know how to make a good cover letter. Will you please tell me? Thank you. Do you
Thank you so much for your question. Yes, a good cover letter is very important for you to attract the editor. So at first you can introduce your paper, the title. This is what we do. At first you introduce the title. After that, you in the cover letter try to use your own sentence. It's not taken from abstract. It's not taken from your any part of your study. That is the basic rules in cover letter. Try to explain about your study with your like own opinion, or using like new sentences that is not in your study.
or
Like,
it's like a sentences for a lay
yes,
people?
yeah, it's sentences about like what you study, what you have done, and what your study is expected to bring a good contribution to the readers. This kind of sentence you have to add in the cover letter, but make sure it's in between one page. It should not
Ah,
exceed
yeah.
one page. So later you just give me a SMS in my mobile number. I will share a good cover letter with you, which my paper published. I have some sample of good cover letter I have done for my papers. I will
Okay.
share with you. So hopefully you can like follow the same structure. Then you can submit for your paper. Okay.
Okay. Thank
Okay. Thank
you.
you. So now I will move to this slide and why desk rejection happens. Desk rejection is very common for any researcher. If you ask, like just now I said about this person, if you ask him, Gursoy, he is the chief editor of this journal. If you ask him, he will also say to you that I have got many desk rejection in my life. Still he is getting. So me like a Ataul, nothing for him. So he's getting desk rejection. So for me, it's even more than common if this kind of author get the rejection, desk rejection. So nothing to worry if you get the desk rejection. Desk rejection does not mean your paper is not worthy. Maybe it is not worthy for this journal, maybe somewhere else. But you need to identify the problem. Why I'm getting the desk rejection? You need to ask yourself and go back to that four questions again. This one. If you get the desk rejection, go back there again. What is happening? Is there anything lackings from here? If you get the lackings here, any of the parts from here, then solve it. Solve it. Then come back to the submission again or preparing the paper. Okay. Why desk rejection happens? Mismatch with journalist scope and aim. Sometimes we fail to identify which journal is more compatible with my paper, which journal is more like goes with the scope of the journal. So we need to find very technically that which journal is very much compatible with my paper, the manuscript I have right now. If you submit to the wrong journal 5 times, you will get the text rejection 5 times. Because if your topic, if your research area is not according to the aim and scope of the journal, definitely they will give you text rejection. No checking, nothing. Just look at your title and rejection. Email is ready. I told you before. Email is ready. Just copy and paste and send to you. And lack of novelty and significance. This is a bit specific. Lack of novelty and significance. If they see the paper does not have enough novelty, theoretical contribution, practical contribution, methodological contribution, if the paper does not have it, it is not sufficient according to the journal's ranking, according to the journal's like reputation, they will not take it. Dex rejection. And poor preparation. Poor preparation can be many things. For example, you overlook the formatting of the journal. You like the way you structure the paper, it looks very, it's not really professional. Then they will make it dex rejection. So we need to be very careful. We must give time. Otherwise, it is not possible. We must give time. We must give time to learn also. So if we give time, then our preparation will be very like strong and rigor. Lack of theoretical consideration and support. Like theoretical consideration, theoretical contribution is not sufficient, dex rejection. Lack of research rigor. Even though you have done a good research, but it is not very like not sufficient enough for the journal, so they will reject the paper. Maybe don't like be disappointed. Maybe it's like you if your paper is really good, it will go to another journal, no problem. Maybe Q1 rejected your paper, you go for Q2. And poor quality of writing. Even though you have good like novelty, you have good significance of the study, you have very good theoretical contribution, but your writing quality is very poor. So that means there is a possibility of getting the dex rejection. And this one is not acceptable at all. Not acceptable at all. Not only dex rejection, if you have high plagiarism, there might be a possibility that you will get some kind of you might be blacklisted if you have very high plagiarism in your paper, because nobody likes it. Nobody likes it. This one is the journal and author guidelines. Whenever you want to submit to the journal, please check carefully the guidelines. Check 10 times, 5 times, check, and after following the guidelines, send to your co-authors to check for you. If you don't have any co-authors, you ask your friend, please help me to check this one. Check as much as you check or cross checking, then definitely there is a chance that your friend can notice some new mistakes in your paper. So for this, especially for this part, like poor writer, like proof, proofreader, they only can check the grammatical mistakes, and they can edit your paper and improve some, but your content has to be very strong. So writing style is very important. So day by day we all have to improve our write up. So this will go on the, like, when you start, then it will go with the flow. So there are some, these are the tips from myself. uh, Personally, I want to give these tips to everyone, not only for Scopus publication, not only for impact factor, but for any kind of publication. If you want to publish in a good journal, it like some good journal, they are even not in impact factor, but they are very good journal. So if you want to publish in good journal, you have to be ready for rejection. Just now I give you the example, the Gursoy, the one of the top authors in the hospitality area. He also gets the rejection. You will get the rejection also. I get the rejection also. So it is very common. Get ready for the rejection. Rejection does not mean you have to be disappointed, or you have to be you have to feel very down. No, it's not that. Rejection means you get the motivation to improve the paper and submit to another journal. This is the rejection. Rejection does not mean it's finished. No, it's a new beginning. Now I get the rejection, I just say to myself, oh, rejected. Okay. Then I take out the paper and I see if there is any comments given. If no comments, then I improve by myself. If in some occasion, for the next rejection, the editor will not give you the comment, just on the rejection. But in some occasion, they will give you the comment. So if they give me the comment, then I look at the comment, I study improving my paper, then I submit to another journal. If another rejection, it's okay. I will improve and submit to another journal. This is how it goes on. If you feel that, oh, this one rejected, I don't want to touch it anymore, maybe I cannot write. No, this is not that. Rejection means you get the motivation, you improve your paper, and submit to another journal. That's it. And avoid the predatory journal. I think most of you are aware of the predatory journal. Even so far, I know Malaysian higher education, they have listed some of the predatory journals. I think you are aware of this predatory journal. Avoid the predatory journals. Even some journals is not in the list, but they are predatory. You must avoid the predatory journal. So what is the best way to avoid the predatory journal? You avoid the stand-alone publisher. For example, if you want to avoid the predatory journal, you go for good publisher. This publisher, they don't have any predatory journal, I can guarantee you. You go for this publisher, including like Sage also should be here. Sage, they don't have predatory journal. So if you go for good publisher, so likely that very less likely you are going to do the mistake. Avoid the predatory journal. You can also follow this professor's list. Professor Bill, I think Bill or Bell. Professor Bill. We call it Bill list. Bill list. So you can see the list. He has listed down all the predatory journals and publishers. So if you see any journal is in his list, please avoid that journal straight away. Please avoid without like thinking twice. Just avoid it. And have a great patience. Have a great. You must have the patience because some journal even will take more than 1 year. Some journal will take even 2 years. We have to be very patient. If we are not patient, so what will happen? If you like keep rushing in imperfecto journals, it will not work. They will not proceed your paper. Even your paper is under review for 6 months. Just wait for it. Just wait. They will, if it is under review, they will give you like feedback today or tomorrow. They will give you the feedback. So if we keep rushing, then maybe we are not ready for impact factor yet. So what happens if you have any requirement? For example, you have KPI, you have like you want to publish the paper for your thesis requirement. On that occasion, you have to have multiple submission. If you have multiple submission means not submitting the same paper to every journal. No, publishing 3 or 4 papers at a time. So it will not give you a stress. One paper is coming, one paper is going, then you can easily get patient. But when you have only one submission in one journal, then you have a huge like stress. When my paper will come out, when my paper will go under review, when my paper will get published. But when you have submitted more than 2, 3, 4, 5 papers, then you don't have to worry because one is coming, another one is going in. One is publishing, another one is going in. So this is the way we have to play around. From now, we have to plan for as much as papers possible. Then we don't have a stress. We can easily wait for the impact factor. But if we submit only one paper, very difficult to wait because we all have the timeline. We have to fulfill the KPI requirement, many responsibilities we have. Now I don't worry about my KPI because my paper is keep coming because I have submitted. But I at the same time I am preparing new paper. If this one coming out, then this one will go in. So this is the way we have to play around. Yeah, one time inshallah you can do it. And give time in learning. More you give time in learning, the faster you can do. I like to personally, I like to attend the workshop. I like to attend the methodological workshop. Any workshop that is related to publication, I just join it. I invest a lot of money to join the workshop. So whenever you have the learning opportunity, please keep learning, keep learning. Try to learn new methods, try to learn analytical skill because when you know the analysis by yourself, it is very easy to prepare the paper. You just need the data. So you do the data collection and prepare the paper. But when you have lackings on those analytical things, then you will be stuck in somehow. So give time in learning, learn as much as possible, and collaborate. Try to collaborate with the authors. If you collaborate, then you can publish more. For example, if you need 2 or 3 papers in a year, or even exactly 2 or 3 papers in a year, then you can write by yourself. But if you need 5 to 10 papers, then you must collaborate with other authors. Collaborate does not mean like you put their name, they put your name. No, you contribute to their paper. Maybe, for example, personally, I am. If you ask me what is my expertise, I will say my expertise. I can write a good introduction, and at the same time, I can do the analysis. These are my expertise. But what about if I ask you? Maybe you know how to write the literature review very nicely, or you can write the methodology nicely, or you can write the theoretical implication nicely, you can write the practical implication nicely. So we all have our different type of skills or expertise. So if you collaborate, maybe for the paper you write the introduction, your friend can do good literature review, so give him the responsibility to write the literature review. So give him the credit, put his name in the paper. This is the way we can collaborate and publish more. This is one type of collaboration. This is one around your circle. But what about if you want to get into impact factor journal for very first time? You don't have experience in publishing. Then get someone who has experience to publish in the impact factor journal. then get the expert opinion. If he has any any ongoing project, try to engage in that. Please engage me. Please tell me what can I contribute to your paper. This is the way I did a lot. Because when you are new, when I am a novice, I have to convince the expert to get into there. At the same time, I have to maintain the best quality of my writing also. If I collaborate with very good author but my write up is not up to the standard, then they will simply throw my write up. They will not take it. So try to collaborate with the authors, good authors, and around your circle also. So this collaboration will, like, if you go to like 1 point, the collaboration will take you to the 10 points, 10 times higher than you can think. And never underestimate anyone's idea or learning process. If someone share the idea with you, please do not underestimate, because I have faced in my life this one a lot. This one my personal story, because I discuss with many of my teachers, I want to do this, I want to do this. In many of my senior people, in many occasions people underestimated, but I really have done what I promised to do to myself. So if anyone comes to you, undergraduate student, doesn't matter, even diploma student, doesn't matter. If anyone comes to you and share the ideas, please respect their ideas. Maybe we never know, their ideas can be very big. So we just respect others idea. And if they want to engage to you, if someone comes to you, sir or madam, I want to work with you, learn the new research, or learn how to conduct the research, learn how to publish the paper, how to write the paper, please give them opportunity to learn from you. Never underestimate them. We never know, one time maybe he will be the bigger researcher than us. So this is the learning, this is how we respect others learning process also. If they want to learn, we give the respect, we help them to learn. If you help someone else, someone will come and help you. This is the way of life. And choose the journal wisely. When you have the manuscript ready, you start from the top. Then time to time you go bottom. If you start from the Q1, if your paper rejected, you go to the next category, next quartile, Q2. Then you go to Q3. Then you go to Q4. If you choose your journal wisely, then there is a better, like, possibility that you will get the best out of it. You would get the best out of it. For example, if you simply go for Q1, maybe this paper or to publish in Q4, yeah, sorry, Q1, but you simply go to Q4 and publish it, you become very happy. No, it's not that. You try in the top journal first. If they reject, then you go step by step, you go down. This is the way we can choose wisely. And this is some of the tips I have for you. This one is checklist for reviewing a paper. For me personally, I have been like a reviewer for many journals, even some Q1 journals, Q2 journals, many impact factor journals. I was the reviewer. So based on my experience and one of the template from LCBR, I have compiled this information, that this will help us to at the review the paper. At the same time, we can see what reviewers is looking for from our paper. Being a reviewer, what they are looking for, their first impression. Reviewer will first impression will be, he will look to find the novelty. He will straight away look for the novelty. He will go to the introduction and go to the problem statement part. What is the problem? What is the research gap? He will go for this kind of novelty. If it is not there, so that means you have a minus point already. Has the appropriate structure and language been used? Either the structure of your paper is properly, you have structured the paper properly, or not yet. The language you have used, is it the proper? How is the English write-up? So this is the thing we need for the proofreader. We need this service. Then reviewer will go for abstract. Is this really a summary or just a discussion? Does it include key findings? Have you included all the key findings of your paper in the abstract? Is it an appropriate length? Is it too long or too short? An introduction, what they will look for, is it effective, clear, and well organized? It has to be very effective, very clear, because it's not a thesis. It has to be very clear and very concise within very like it cannot be so long, cannot be so long, or cannot be so very short. It has to be very clear and concise, and all the information has to be there. From your introduction, readers should know that what is going on and what you are going to do and why are you doing this. Does it really introduce and put into perspective what follows? Yeah, what you are like, you're following. Suggest changes in organization, point authors to appropriate citation. Citation has to be very clear, be specific. Don't write the authors have done a poor job. This one is from the reviewer's perspective. This one suggestion from reviewer's perspective, we must suggest. And is the description new methodology accurate? Your methodology must have some kind of uniqueness. And result discussion, comments on general, usually they will comment and write very concisely and precisely. This one from the reviewer's perspective also. Make clear, needs and ask yourself, okay, conclusion. Your conclusion must have the importance and request removal of redundancy. It should not have the redundancies and like summaries. The abstract, not the conclusion. Abstract will summarize your study, not the conclusion. Okay. And you have to be very accurate with the references, table, and figures. So this is the one you can use as a like when you preparing the paper, you can look at this matter, how reviewer will look at your paper. So this is a good guidelines, I think. So I will share with you after this presentation. Well, what editors view as a, those are the good reviewers. Good reviewers will provide you a thorough and comprehensive report and submit the report on time, not delaying the paper for very long, and provide the well-founded comments for authors, giving a constructive criticism. Even what happened to one of my recent papers, uh, out of 4 reviewers, 1 reviewer rejected my paper in the 3rd revision. Then I argued back with the editor. I said, "What's going on?" Because in first position he accepted my paper, but in the third reviewing in the third time, he rejected my paper. 1 reviewer rejected my paper, but another 3 reviewers, they accepted my paper. So when I argued back with the editor, I asked him, I give him the responsibility. I said, you check the paper properly. If you feel it should be rejected, then you can reject my paper. But if you feel it should be accepted, then you can overlook his comment. Then finally my paper was accepted, alhamdulillah. But it was a good journal. I did not want to lose the paper. But at the same time, in Impact Factor journal, even 4 reviewers, if all, in most of the occasions, all should accept your paper. That is the like very risky zone. Very difficult to convince all the people. If all accept the paper, then only your paper will be accepted. Even one single reviewer reject the paper, then paper rejected. So that's a very high risk. Still, we have to try. We have to keep trying. There is no easy way. We have to try, and we have to try our best, and we can make it, inshallah. And thank you so much. This is my presentation for today, and I hope that you have got some information that really can help you to build up your paper, or can help you to set up your mind that I really want to publish in Impact Factor Journal. That is a very nice game if you can really publish in Impact Factor Journal. It's a game, but very interesting. If you publish one, then your confidence level will be very high. You will feel that what you have done. If you publish in the Fed journal, you can never feel your achievement because you have paid for it. But if you publish in high impact factor journal or a high good scope journal that is non-paid, you will feel your achievement, that you have something good, you have something worthy, you have something very legitimate, and that has been published. You'll feel your achievement, you can share with your friend, you can share your confidence with your colleagues. This is the beauty of publication. You will enjoy your publication, you will enjoy your write-up when you publish in a good journal. So that's all from my side. If you have any question, inshallah, you are welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tau, for your sharing. Sharing. So we will open for Q&A session, maybe from our faculty members, because not only hospitality department members joined our session today, we also have Puan Hanim, Dr. Salina, Dr. Nashad from other department. Okay, so any question from the other participants? Ada soalan ke? Boleh share je soalan. Doktor tahu faham bahasa Melayu kan, Doktor tahu?
Yeah, well, if I don't understand, I will ask you, no problem.
Okay. Okay. So maybe ada soalan. Dr. Azai. Boleh. Silakan.
Okay, Assalamualaikum Dr. Ataul. Thank you for your interesting sharing session. Okay, Dr. Ataul, may I know which publication is the most difficult to accept the paper from your personal experience? That's my questions.
Okay, for my personal experiences, which publication do you mean, the publisher or journal?
Could be both journal and publisher.
Okay, for the publisher, there are publisher, I will say Elsevier is the most like toughest one. But if you go very specific, I will say tourism management is the toughest one. I have not managed to publish there. Tourism management. For me, it is the toughest one still so far. Maybe there are some other journal also, like Journal of Business Research. It's also quite tough journal. JBR, we say it. So it depends also, because I have one friend, he published in International Journal of Hospitality Management, but that one also tough journal. So top journal, always top journal. So we must try. We must try. We never know. Until we try, we never know what happens. Maybe we are worthy of publishing there, but if we don't try, we never know. We can try and see how.
Sure. Thank you on that.
Thank you.
Okay, mungkin ada soalan lagi selain daripada Dr. Azai ke? Okay, Dr. Ataul, I really want to know whether how do you approach collaborators from other country, because I see your co-authors are from different countries, so maybe you can share your experience. How do you approach this other researcher from different countries? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Siti Fatima, for your question. And first of all, what we need to do, we need to identify like who are the top authors in our area. We need to identify these, and also at the same time we need to figure out who is doing like even though he or she is not top author, but recently he's publishing a lot in good journal. So we can approach or email them. Is there any ongoing project, then I can get included, or is there any ongoing papers I can get included? Then also at the same time we can write down what can we contribute. Also you can share 2 or 3 of your papers. These are my papers, you can see my write-up. If you feel it is okay, it is like acceptable or good write-up, then you can include me in your paper, or you can include me in your project. This is how we can approach also, but it depends in situation to situation. Sometimes in personal connection also help us. For example, today we are in the workshop. This workshop also can make a good collaboration here. After the workshop, we can discuss with each other. Usually, if it is face to face, we can discuss with each other and what kind of research we are doing. We can include each other because we all have some kind of capability actually. Because since I'm here, since you are here, we have some kind of capability, but we need to show our capability to good authors, what we can contribute to them, what we can contribute to their research. This is the way we can get in. We need to prove ourselves, that's it. If we can prove ourselves to them, I really can contribute in your research. But some authors, they are very reluctant. They do not want to include any stranger. For example, they are very top researcher. So why not give a try? Or sometime what we can do, if we have a good manuscript, we can suggest, we can discuss with a good author. We can say, I have a manuscript. Can you please help me to check my manuscript? At least he is a top author. If he checks your paper, that means he will give you some input there, so your paper level will be very high. This is the way also we can do. So at the end, you can for his contribution, you can offer him the authorship if he is ready. But sometimes they don't want authorship. So this is, there are many ways. It's a very subjective matter, but you can give a try. You can give a try. There is always a chance to give a try. But once you build up your network, then time to time it will come, it will continuously like growing very fast once you build the network.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Taul. So maybe ada soalan dekat chat box. Okay, a question from Dr. Fahmi. If we put abstract of the study, is it okay?
If
So
we put abstract of the study, where?
I'm not sure because this question asked.
Okay, abstract of the study. Can you please a bit give a bit details about
Dr.
it?
Fahmi left the meeting because he has class.
Okay, 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 okay.
So maybe after this,
Dr. Fatimah,
yeah.
I think the question from Dr. Fahmi, I see the comment when they discuss about the cover letter.
Oh, cover later.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Regarding cover letter, no, 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 it's not right. You cannot put the full abstract. No. So I told during the answering the question, I told that we need to write really something that is not in the paper. We need to highlight what you have done in the paper and what is like what you are expected to contribute to this paper throughout this paper. I will share the one cover letter with you, Dr. Fatima. Then you can share with the colleagues. Yeah.
Okay, so I will share and disseminate your cover letter with our faculty
Yeah,
members.
cover letter is very important one, so I will share one with you.
Okay. So maybe satu soalan lagi akhir, ada ke? Dr. Salina, maybe? Ada soalan? Tak ada. Cik Mada
So
ni?
far, I don't have a question yet.
Okay.
Maybe we get back to Dr. Ataur directly if
Okay.
Mm.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You're welcome anytime, inshallah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Ataur, for this sharing session. Okay, I hope every one of us get some input and beneficial for us to practice for our publication. Okay, so hopefully Dr. Ataur can share more tips after this. Maybe
Inshallah, inshallah. Inshallah.
next session. Maybe. Okay, Dr. Azaim minta share slide. Later
Okay,
maybe
okay.
Dr. Ataur can share the slide and I email
Yeah,
to
yeah.
all
Later
of
I will share the slide. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much pada semua yang hadir, pada presenter Dr. Ataur sendiri. Terima kasih banyak-banyak.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Assalamualaikum.
you lagi. Assalamualaikum.
Salam. Thank you, Doktor.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Doctor,
Dr.
for
Ataur.
your session.
Thank you. Very great sharing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.